had to refilm this because number one, I had to change locations, and number two, I just kept on going on and on. Like, it just was a mess. But anyways, welcome back to another podcast episode. I'm so excited that you're here with me today. That was a bird. If you hear a bunch of noises, it's because I don't have a microphone like attached to my mouth or anything. Like, it's just my microphone on my camera, and I have so many noises going around. People are probably going to be coming up and down. I'm on the roof of my dorm building, so but I wanted to make another podcast video, and I have been making a ton, but they've been all over the place, and I haven't had any topics. Like, I haven't had like a direction that I was going in for each of these episodes. So this one I am actually going to post because I love posting these, and I know the podcast episodes have been helping out me a lot lately, so I want to sort of return the favor. Maybe it'll help someone else. But for this episode, I wanted to talk about how to be happy. And not in a way that it's like a cheat sheet, but just tips and things that I have learned that have allowed me to be at my highest point, which is where I'm at now. And when I think of highs and lows, I never think of it like this. I think of it as stairs. I don't know what that was, but I think of highs and lows as stairs, because no matter how low you are, there are other circumstances, but most of the time it's never as low as you were before, because you have more knowledge now, and you have more coping mechanisms. You have different things going on now, and maybe that may not always be true, but I find that when I think that way, I am less in the past and more in the future and in the present. Because if I don't think about my life like in stairs, then I feel like I'm just going back. And maybe the lows are just, for me, they're just like, you know, when sometimes like old stairs that sometimes like wooden stairs like dip, or and cement stairs that like chip off, like maybe that's a low. It's a small chip and your life full of stairs. I don't know, maybe that doesn't make sense for you, but it makes sense for me, so that's really all that matters. But I think the most important thing that it comes to achieving my inner happiness is self-care, and self-care without consequence. I mean that as in, you are spending alone time with yourself, and you're in with your own thoughts without beating yourself up about it. So for example, you're taking that time off to take care of yourself, but you're not beating yourself up about it. You are spending that Saturday night in, but you're not comparing your night to other people's night out on social media. I think that is really what it means. And of course, we are all human and we all have flaws, and we are all going to do that. But to be able to catch yourself and to accept that part of yourself, and to be like, hey, I cannot do this anymore. I'm gonna go put my phone down because this comparison is not gonna help me. And keeping yourself accountable, I think, is the biggest thing, because no one else, you are the only person in your life. There's no one else that is going to love you eternally like yourself. There is no one that is going to be with you eternally like yourself. There's no one that's going to keep you accountable forever like yourself. So I think building that relationship with yourself, especially early on in your life, is so important, and I'm so grateful that I have, because I'm currently in Oahu, Hawaii, and I am completely alone, away from thousands and thousands of miles from anyone that I know. And I am perfectly content and happy with spending all of this time alone. And to be honest, me being here alone, I don't feel alone. Like, I reflect on that a lot when I am exploring Waikiki and doing all of these things, is that I don't ever feel lonely. And I don't really ever feel alone, because I'm just having fun with myself, and I also have so many people around me, and there's nature around me, there's tourists and locals, and I think, I don't know, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, because there will be times where I don't talk for hours, and yet I'm just sitting with my own thoughts. And I think it's very important to make your head a good place to be, because if you don't, then it's awful. And I've experienced that, and it's an awful thing when you just have these absolutely horrid thoughts just going through your head. And it's something that you seriously need to fix. And I think that comes with a lot of self-reflection. It comes with a lot of healing. And I can make a whole separate video on healing, because I think healing it's so complex, but it's something that's absolutely necessary. And there is no cheat sheet to healing, obviously, and healing is not linear. Nothing is linear. Nothing is linear. But you need to be able to sit with your own thoughts, and you need to keep yourself accountable with sitting with your own thoughts. And I will say one thing, because when it comes to healing, most of the time it comes with forgiveness that needs to be, I guess, accounted for. I don't know. You need to forgive something. And one thing I'll say, because I'm not going to say much, because I do, if you guys want to, I will make a separate video on this. Forgiveness is not letting go. It's not letting go. People say that. It's not letting go. It's accepting. You can still not be okay with it and forgive. Forgiving is just accepting what has happened to you, and you rejecting it defining you. Being like, okay, they did this to me, and that is a reflection on them. That is who they are. That has nothing to do with me and my life. It has shaped me. It has shaped me into who I am. But it will not further define my choices. It will not further influence me into doing certain things. And it's sort of letting go. It's letting go of that negative energy. That's what it is. You're shedding that negative energy, and you're just, what's happening. You're not letting the situation go entirely. You're just shedding the negative energy, because you don't need that in your life. And I think that's another thing that I wanted to touch on is energies and karma. I haven't done enough research to be able to really go in on the science of that or anything. I don't know if it's psychology, but I will tell you it is real. And this month has literally proven that to me. When you have high energy, when you are not only kind to other people, but you're kind to yourself. Because a different type of kindness is achieved when you are kind and happy with yourself. And the way that you are to other people is just different. And you become a magnet. Good things just start coming towards you. And that's when you have good things coming, that means you are very high energy. And it's good things that are just good things. And being able to accept good things as they are is so important. Because no, good things don't come with bad things. They don't always come with bad things. Stop thinking that there's going to be a consequence that is going to come with that. So when you have high energy, you attract high energy things. And it's vice versa too. When you are at a low energy, when you don't do things for yourself and you are mean to other people, you're projecting all of these awful things that you think about yourself onto other people, making other people's life worse, you're going to attract negative things as well. It's inevitable. It's what's going to happen. And that's where karma comes in. That's what karma is. It's just you are going to attract what you vibrate, what your frequency is, what you vibrate, like vibrations. And that's also a huge thing when it comes to like projection, is that when happy people aren't mean. Happy people project happiness and sunshine and everything. You feel good around happy people. It's just what happens, where you feel good around good people. Usually when someone is mean to you, about 99% of the time, 99% of the time, because also if someone has a problem with you, a happy person is not going to be mean about it. They're going to be respectful to you about it. They're going to handle it in a mature way. An unhappy person is going to be immature about it, and they're going to be mean to you. But either way, regarding if you did something wrong or not, unhappy people are mean people. They just are. And usually that meanness is not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. Usually when someone is mean to you is because they're jealous of you or they envy you. I guess those could be the same thing, but usually that's what it is. They see something in you that they either want in themselves, or that they want in themselves, and they don't like that you have it and they don't. So that's usually the biggest thing. And once you sort of learn that, you learn a lot about other people by the things they say and their actions. And their actions usually speak so much louder than what they say. And that has been my major, I guess, not definer, but it's just, that's how I know who I want to be friends with. And I've always been very in tune with my intuition, and for some reason I can sense energies. I just can. I think it's because I'm so in tune with my intuition, but I can sense when someone's not going to be good to me, and I can just, I can feel it. I can just, maybe it's because of their micro expressions or anything like that. I'm just really in tune and I can just see it. And I think that's also a skill that you end up adapting when you learn to take that time to yourself and you learn to rewire your brain. And all of this is so much easier said than done. It takes years, and it takes a really long time to be able to think this way and to be able to have a mature perspective. But it's a hard ride and it's a long ride, but it's also beautiful along the way, because you learn so much more about who you are, what you want in your life, and what you want to pursue. And I think that's also a really big thing when it comes to other people, is that people are not a deciding factor in what you want to do with your life. They're not. Their opinions literally do not matter. If they matter to you, then you are going to be living in a life of what other people think, and you're not going to be happy. And there's going to come a time where you want to do something, you want to be something, but other people don't approve that, so you're not going to do that, and you're going to regret it. And that's the last thing we want, is regret. And I think that once you learn to be who you are, you have less regret, because you are who you are. That is not something that you can avoid. You are literally living in your own brain. Like, your brain is making your choices. You are who you are. There's janitorial stuff right now. But anyways, you are who you are. So learn to accept it, because you're not going to be anybody else. And another thing, I think the last thing that I really wanted to touch on was your outlook. And your outlook is very important. I think your outlook is the most vital thing that in your life. Because if you have a negative outlook, negative things are going to happen. It's inevitable. Your brain manifests what happens. And if you have a negative outlook, bad things are going to happen. And I think there's also a lot of things that comes in your outlook. It's like what you think about yourself, what you think about your life, what you think about things in the future, but also your past experiences is also a big thing, and education is extremely important. And I don't mean education by going to school. I think travel is the biggest form of education. I think learning more about people and learning more about the world is the greatest thing that can shape your outlook. Just because you find that, especially when you've been in a place where you don't feel life is worth living, life just becomes this whole circle of sun when you just learn about different people's perspectives. And I think that's also a huge thing that's going on in the world, is that we are refusing to look at other people's sides, because in our mind they did these awful things. How could we learn? How we think it's a disservice to ourselves for learning about their side because they did such a disservice to us. And that's not really what it is. You're just gaining more knowledge about the situation, and it's going to lead to resolution. And going back on travel, you not only learn so many things about other people and about your world, you learn so many things about you. Like, when you see new things and when you see different things, it just expands your entire, like, I don't even know the science of it. It's just incredible. And I know myself that I have been fortunate enough to be able to have a lot of travel opportunities. I went to Guatemala in June with my high school, or at least last June, and it was the most amazing thing that I've ever experienced in my life. And you just got to, this family invited me into their home, and they treated me like I was like their daughter. And it was just like something, I don't even know what it is. I just know that I'm so much happier when I travel. And I think the biggest thing that also comes into that is because I'm not entirely happy in the home that I was raised in. So I've had to learn to adapt and make other places my home. But one thing that I've also learned, especially while being in Hawaii, it's that anywhere can be a home. A home isn't a place, it's what you make of it. And of course people say that, and I knew that, but truly, like, I feel at home here. And I feel a sense of security here. Which is weird because I've only been in this unknown place for 3 days. But it's just what it is. So there's also the benefit of making a home for yourself. But yeah, I think when you make a home with yourself, everywhere else becomes a home. And I think that's beautiful. But I think that maybe was a little all over the place. But that's all I have written down for now, because I feel like if I talk about more things, then it's just gonna end up being all over the place. So if you want anything more for me to talk about, just let me know, and I will deliver. But I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you all are being yourself, you're being kind to other people, and you're being kind to yourself. Have a beautiful day.